I was standing outside my parents' house, holding a half-melted cake in one hand and a birthday card in the other, when that message popped up on my screen. We changed the locks. It's over. For a moment, I thought it was a joke, but then the gate beeped red, not green. They really meant it. My own mother had locked me out of the house I grew up in, without a single warning. Before you scroll, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. What happens next will leave you speechless. You won't believe how this ends. I had no car, no extra clothes, and nowhere else to go. I just stood there, frozen, as my sister peeked through the living room curtain with the smirk she always wore when she got exactly what she wanted. That house used to be my safe place, my comfort zone. But now it felt like enemy territory. It all started 6 months ago when I lost my job at the law firm. Not because I messed up, because I refused to sleep with the senior partner. My family didn't want to hear it. They just saw the headlines. Clarissa fired from $300K job. Suddenly, I became the family shame. My dad wouldn't even look at me. My mom started whispering to neighbors that I was emotionally unstable. And Vanessa, my golden child sister, she used every second of my fall to climb higher in their eyes. But what they didn't know was this. I wasn't sitting at home crying. I was building something real. Every night, while they laughed at family dinners without me, I sat in a cheap apartment coding, planning, risking everything. And while they cut me off emotionally, financially, and literally, I was quietly turning a forgotten idea into $1 million solution. Still, nothing could prepare me for this, to be erased like I was never part of them, to be told I didn't even belong in the house where every memory of my childhood lived. Not even a single word of goodbye. Just one cold message. It's over. But what my family didn't know was, this was just the beginning. The cold wind hit my face as I walked away from the gate, each step heavier than the last. I didn't cry. Not yet. I didn't want to give them that satisfaction. My phone buzzed again. Another message, this time from Vanessa. It's for your own good. Maybe now you'll grow up. I nearly laughed. Grow up? I was the one who raised myself while she lived like a princess. She never worked a real job in her life, and now she was the one living in my old bedroom. I booked a room at a cheap motel on the edge of town, the kind with flickering lights and paper-thin walls. That night, while the pipes rattled and the neighbors argued, I opened my laptop and stared at the numbers. We were close. So close. My app, Shield Desk, had just crossed 100,000 downloads. Not bad for a girl who'd been called useless and unstable. I still hadn't told anyone. Not even my best friend. I wanted it to grow quietly. Secretly. I wanted it to explode in their faces. But before that could happen, I needed proof. Revenge. Didn't work without proof. I collected screenshots, voice recordings, text messages, everything. Vanessa had borrowed thousands from mom and dad to fund her fake influencer brand. Their savings were gone. But she told them it was for marketing. I had receipts, and soon everyone else would too. The real twist started when I got an anonymous email 2 days later. The subject line said, "I know what they did to you." There was no name, no signature, just an audio file. I hesitated, then hit play. Vanessa's voice. "Clarissa's out. She won't be coming back. Just keep the money flowing and I'll make sure she stays gone." I paused. My chest went cold. There it was. Proof that this wasn't just about disappointment. It was a setup. A calculated plan to remove me from the picture completely. And suddenly it all made sense. The job rumor, the cold stares, the fake sympathy. They didn't want me struggling. They wanted me gone. And they were about to regret not finishing the job. I didn't sleep that night. My mind was racing. Not with pain anymore, but with clarity. They thought they buried me. They didn't realize I was the seed. The next morning, I transferred everything from my laptop to an encrypted hard drive and walked into a co-working space downtown, the same one I'd been silently building my business from for months. I called an emergency meeting with my tiny remote team. 3 developers, 1 marketer, and my lawyer friend from college who believed in me when no one else did. I played the audio clip during the meeting. No one said a word until it ended. Then my lawyer leaned back and said, "They messed with the wrong girl." In less than 48 hours, we finalized the company's legal structure, protected our IP, and launched the updated version of Shield Desk with premium features. Features that would attract corporate investors. We pushed out press releases, set up automated demos, and contacted every tech podcast, blog, and newsletter that had ever ghosted us before. But this time, they responded. Because numbers speak louder than desperation. And my app's growth was now undeniable. Meanwhile, Vanessa kept posting photos of her perfect life. Spa days, brunches, and luxury bags she pretended to buy herself. But I knew better. I knew she was draining my parents' retirement fund like a slow leak. I also knew her influencer contract was fake. She didn't think anyone would ever fact-check it. But I did. The real moment came 1 week later at my father's 60th birthday party. I wasn't invited, of course. But I had RSVP'd in a different way, with an email leak. At exactly 8:30 p.m., every guest's phone buzzed at once. I had scheduled the release of a full document drop, texts, audio, photos, everything, showing how Vanessa lied, manipulated, and schemed to kick me out and take over. The room turned silent. My mom's hands started shaking. My dad's jaw locked. And Vanessa, she tried to laugh. "She's crazy. She made this all up." Then someone spoke up behind her. "She didn't make it up, because I'm her investor." All eyes turned. And that's when I walked in. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Half of them couldn't believe their eyes. The other half just stared like they were seeing a ghost. I hadn't stepped foot in that house, or into any family event in almost a year. And now, I was walking in wearing a custom black blazer, heels that clicked with confidence, and a silence that was louder than any insult they'd ever thrown at me. Vanessa froze. Her fake smile cracked. My dad looked stunned. My mom? She looked scared. I walked straight up to the front of the room and tapped my phone. The TV behind them lit up. A video began to play. Screenshots of Vanessa messaging a real estate agent to try and sell my parents' house behind their backs, recordings of her mocking them for being too old to manage their own money, and bank statements linking large transfers from their account to her private shopping fund. I didn't say a word. I let the truth speak. Then the final clip played. My mom's voice from the day she kicked me out. Cold. Final. "You're not part of this family anymore." When the video ended, the room was dead silent, until someone clapped. A man in a suit stepped forward. "I'm Andrew Pearson, investor, tech columnist, and Clarissa's business partner. Her company just closed a 7-figure funding round. You all had a chance to support her. You chose to laugh." Gasps again. I looked at my parents. My voice didn't shake this time. "I built Shield Desk from scratch while sleeping in a rented basement. While you were throwing parties, I was pitching investors. You locked me out. But you also set me free." My mom whispered, "Clarissa, wait. We didn't know." "You didn't care to know," I interrupted, calmly. I turned, to leave, but then paused. "Oh, and Vanessa? Your brand deals? They're fake." I spoke to the companies. One of them is filing a fraud report. Her face drained of color. As I walked out the door, people stared at me like I was someone else. And I guess I was. Because that night, I didn't just take back my power. I took back everything they thought I'd never have. 2 days later, my inbox was overflowing. Interviews, brand deals, partnership offers, even a feature request from a major cybersecurity firm. My app, once laughed at by my own family, was now making headlines. Startup built in silence exposes. Family fraud and lands $1 million deal. I didn't care about fame. I cared about freedom. And now I had it. But it wasn't over yet. That same week, I got a call from my parents' lawyer. Turns out my father had quietly included me in his original estate plan years ago, before Vanessa started poisoning their minds. And now, after what had happened, he'd reversed all recent changes. I was reinstated as the primary heir, not because of money, but because of truth. My mom came to see me the next evening. No cameras, no drama. Just her, holding a small box. She placed it on the table without a word. I opened it. Inside was the old house key. The original one. The one they'd replaced when they changed the locks. "I'm not asking for forgiveness," she said, her voice breaking, "but I am ashamed of what we let her do to you." I didn't respond. Not right away. I just looked at the key. The symbol of everything I'd lost and everything I no longer needed. After a pause, I handed it back to her. "I don't need keys to a house that locked me out when I needed love the most." She nodded slowly, tears slipping down her cheeks. I stood up. Not to walk away this time, but to walk forward. As I stepped into the elevator, my phone buzzed again. Investor number 3 confirmed. Funding secured. Expansion begins Monday. I smiled to myself. They tried to break me. They tried to erase me. But in doing so, they built me. From shattered to CEO. From forgotten to feared. And this was only the beginning.